Gopi Janavalabha Giridhari Gopi Janavalabha Giridhari Jashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Brajajanaranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Rukmini Dwarkadish Rukmini Dwarkadish Rukmini Dwarkadish Rukmini Dwarkadish Jaya Jagannath Jaya Jagannath Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Srila Prabhupada Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bo, Jai Om Vishnu Pad, Paramahansa Padabrajaka Acharya, Asatura Sata Sri Shivan, ISKCON BBT Founder Charge Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nitya Lila Prabhu Om Vishnu Pad Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananti Koti Vaishnava Ki Jai. Nama Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Sakahosh Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopana Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Brajamubi Namadam Ki Jai. Shri Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Shri Lal Chal Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Jamuna Mai Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Shrimati Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai. There was beautiful lordship. Shri Shukmini Dwarkadish Ki Jai. Shri Shukmini Dwarkanath Ki Jai. Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Ki Jai. Shri Shri Gaurnitai Ki Jai. Samabheta Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Going back to home, back to Godhead Ki Jai. ISKCON Los Angeles Latar Ki Jai. Brihad Badanga Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai. International Food for Life Transcendental Prasadam Distribution Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Hari Hari Bo. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. Glory Srila Prabhupada. Maybe we can open that side door and get some air and make sure all the windows upstairs are open. It's a little warm in here. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narotamam Deving Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamatirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, let us offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of God and Lord Narayan. unto Narnarayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author, and unto Srila Prabhupada, who is the translator, commentator, and our spiritual master. Nashta Prayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. By regularly attending the Srimad Bhagavatam class and by rendering service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving devotional service unto the personality of God and whose worship with transcendental songs becomes established as an irrevocable fact. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're continuing our reading from the third canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. This is chapter 18, the fight between Lord Boar and the demon Hiranyaksha. Today's text should be 13. Yes. Maitreya Vacha Sodikshipto Bhagavata Pralabdascha Rishabhrisham Ajaharo Banang Krodam Kridyamano Hiradiva. Maitreya Vacha Sodikshipto Bhagavata Pralabdascha Rishabhrisham Ajahoro Banang Krodam Kridyamano Hiradiva. Maitreya Vacha Sodikshipto Bhagavata Pralabdascha Rishabhrisham Ajaharo Banang Krodam Kridyamano Hiradiva. Sodikshipto Bhagavata Pralabdascha Rishabhrisham Ajaharo Banang Krodam Kridyamano Hiradiva. Ajaharo Banang Krodam Kridyamano Hiradiva. Vaishnavis. Maitreya Vacha Labdasya Rishabrisha. Maitreya Vacha. So Bhagavata. Pralabdasya Rishabrisha. Ajaharo Banam Krodam. Kiryamano Hiradiva. So synonyms. Maitreya, the great sage Maitreya. Uvacha said. Saha, the demon. Adikshiptaha, having been insulted. Bhagavata, by the personality of Godhead. Pralabdhaha, ridiculed. Cha, and. Rusa, angry. Vrisham, greatly. Ajahara, collected. Ulbanam, great. Krodam, anger. Krijamanaha, being played with. Ahirat, a great cobra. Iva, like. So, Srila Prabhupada's translation for this verse. Sri Maitreya said, the demon, being thus challenged by the personality of Godhead, became angry and agitated, and he trembled in anger like a challenged cobra. Please repeat. Sri Maitreya said, the demon, being thus challenged by the personality of Godhead, became angry and agitated, and he trembled in anger like a challenged cobra. Srila Prabhupada's purport. A cobra is very fierce before ordinary persons, but before an enchanter who can play with him, he is a plaything. Similarly, a demon may be very powerful in his own domain, but before the Lord he is insignificant. The demon Ravana was a fierce figure before the demigods, but when he was before Lord Ramachandra, he trembled and prayed to his deity, Lord Shiva, but to no avail. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshtarine. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshura Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtang Shnapitang Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandehang Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishyavangsha Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sahagana Ragana Tanvatam Tang Sajivam Shadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitangscha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishamanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kolpaturubhya Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So it's mentioned that cobras are very fierce. How many of you have actually seen a cobra in person? So my first personal encounter with cobra in 1976, we chartered an Air India plane called Emperor Ashoka. It was a 747, and 440 devotees from the US took that plane to Calcutta. We stayed overnight in Calcutta, and then we were bused to Mayapur the next evening. We arrived dusk, and at that time the long building, which is now they call what is that, the Gada? Is that You live in Mayapur sometimes. What's the long building called? Yeah, okay. So that was just a foundation. And on top of the foundation, that's where all the brahmacharis were going to sleep. So they had put some tarps down, but when we got there was a huge commotion going on. So we asked, what's happening? They said, oh, we found a cobra and we had to kill him because that's where you're going to sleep. So that was my first encounter with cobra. And then during the course of that stay, were you there that year? Naikatma? 76, you were there, right? Yeah. So during the course of that stay, it was a Mayapur festival, where the gardens are now in the middle of the compound. That was tall grass. They hadn't built anything in that area yet. So, and there were some standpipes. We had to take our bath out there. You know, there was no bathrooms in that building. So every day we had to go outside and take our bucket bath under the standpipes. So one morning I'm doing that, and I see a cobra come along, not too far from me. And this was the eye-opening thing. He raised up, he was looking, and then he coiled and he sprang. I never knew that snakes could jump. But he did that. I guess he saw a rodent or something in the grass and he wanted to surprise him, so he coiled up and he sprang. So I was speaking with one of the local brahmacharis there, Mayapur Basi, and I was telling what was happening. He said, Prabhu, if we told you how many cobras are here in Mayapur, you wouldn't come. And as you know, Prabhupada himself had encountered with cobra in the Conch building. You know that incident when he went to the bathroom and there was a cobra there, and the devotees had a big struggle to get him out. And Prabhupada asked him, did you get the other one? And they went, what? There was only one? No, Prabhupada said, no, they traveled in pairs. So yes, Mayapur Dham is full of cobras, but as we know, the Supreme Lord in the form of Lord Nrsingadev is taking up his residence there in Mayapur, and anyone who takes shelter of Lord Nrsingadev does not have to fear snakes. That's mentioned in the Nrsinga Kavacha. Vrishtika Sarpa Koraga. That if you take shelter of Lord Nrsingadev, Vrishtik and Sarpa, you don't have to be afraid of. Vrishtik is scorpion, Sarpa is the snake. So whenever you think there are snakes around, just chant Nrsingadev. That's all. Take shelter of Lord Nrsingadev, you don't have to worry. So here it's mentioned also, interesting, that the Prabhupada says the demon Ravana was a fierce figure before the demigods, but when he was before Lord Ramachandra, he trembled and prayed to his deity, Lord Shiva. So what's interesting here is that the demons take shelter of Lord Shiva, many of them, but they want to use Lord Shiva. They're not surrendering to him. Lord Shiva, as you know, Vaishnavanam Yata Shambhu, he's the greatest of Vaishnavas. So you take shelter of a Vaishnava in order to get the strength to kill God. Look at that, you know, this is their mentality. Lord Shiva is the greatest devotee of the Lord, and they want to take shelter of him so he can empower them to kill God. So that's not going to work. And it fails repeatedly. So many demons have taken shelter of Lord Shiva, and they always are defeated. So in this case, Ravana was defeated, but the devotees, they take shelter of Lord Shiva, but they worship Lord Shiva as, again, the greatest devotee of the Lord, and they ask to be empowered in their endeavors. So I wanted to read one segment from the fourth canto. Many of you may know the pastime of the Prachetas with encountering Lord Shiva. So let's just, this is in the fourth canto, chapter 24. There's a double verse, 24 and 25. Taryeva sarasastasma nishkamantang sahanagam Upagiyamanam amara pravaram vibunanagai tapta hemanikaya bham shitikantam chilochanam prasada sumukham bhiksha pranemhor jhatakotakaha. So Srila Prabhupada's translation. The Prachetas were fortunate to see Lord Shiva, the chief of the demigods, emerging from the water with his associates. His bodily luster was just like molten gold. Interesting, because many times you see Lord Shiva depicted with a bluish color, not golden color. His throat was bluish, and he had 3 eyes, which looked very mercifully upon his devotees. He was accompanied by many musicians who were glorifying him. As soon as the Prachetas saw Lord Shiva, they immediately offered their obeisances in great amazement and fell down at the lotus feet of the Lord. So this is how devotees approach Lord Shiva. They immediately offer their respect. So it's a short purport. I'll just read it. So the Prabhupada says, the word Vibhudanugayi indicates that Lord Shiva is always accompanied by the denizens of the higher planets known as Gandharvas and Kinnaras. They are very expert in musical science, and Lord Shiva is worshipped by them constantly. In pictures, Lord Shiva is generally painted white, Prabhupada says here, but many times you see him painted blue also. But here we find that the color of his skin is not exactly white, but like molten gold or a glowing yellowish color. Because Lord Shiva is always very merciful, his name is Ashutosh. Amongst all the demigods, Lord Shiva can be pacified even by the lowest class of men, who need only offer him obeisances and leaves of a bael tree. Thus his name is Ashutosha, which means that he is pleased very quickly. Generally, those who are very fond of material prosperity approach Lord Shiva for such benediction. The Lord, being very merciful, quickly awards all the blessings the devotee asks of him. The demons take advantage of this leniency and sometimes take benedictions from Lord Shiva which can be very dangerous to others. For instance, Rikasura took a benediction from Lord Shiva by which he could kill everyone he touched on the head. Although Lord Shiva sometimes very liberally gives such benedictions to his devotees, the difficulty is that the demons, being very cunning, sometimes want to experiment improperly with such benedictions. For instance, after receiving his benediction, Rikasura tried to touch the head of Lord Shiva. Devotees of Lord Vishnu, however, have no desire for such benedictions, and Lord Vishnu does not give his devotees benedictions which would cause disturbance to the whole world. So this is why the demons don't want to worship Lord Vishnu, because he won't give them anything that's not good for themselves and others. They worship Lord Shiva, and then they even try to kill Lord Shiva, what to speak of again, taking benedictions from Lord Shiva to kill Vishnu or Krishna. So here we're at a junction in the story where, or in the pastime, we've heard the insults from Hiranyaksha. We've heard Lord Lord Varaha's reply, telling him that indeed we are creatures of the jungle and we're searching after hunting dogs like you. One who's freed from the entanglement of death has no fear from the loose talk in which you're indulging, because you're bound up by the laws of death. So we're taking shelter of the Lord. Initially, we can't claim Mama Janmani Jamani, birth after birth. We want to get out of this crazy place. You just have to glance at the news every day and you see how crazy this place is. Not in one location or some other everywhere. Anybody who thinks they can escape, difficulties by going to Bora Bora or some other place, right? Some Huar or some other place. No, you can't. Wherever you go, the entanglement of birth and death is there. Wherever you go. The only way out is to take shelter of the Supreme Lord under the direction of his pure devotees. So Srila Prabhupada said, one of the problems with my disciples and followers is that you're not sufficiently afraid of Krishna's material energy, Maya. You're not. We're still preconditioned to try to find a comfortable situation here. If I have enough Lakshmi, at least so I can go to India once or twice a year. If I have, a nice home situation, if I have nice car, no, there's nothing nice here in this material world. We see how quickly things can change. In the news right now, this guy flipped out in Maine, killed 18 people, just like that. And this is not, again, isolated. It's happening everywhere because people are more or less crazy. Like Prabhupada said about that government servant in Calcutta. One guy had killed somebody and he was brought to trial, and his lawyers entered the plea that he was momentarily crazy. So they brought in the government psychologist to examine him, and when the judge asked him, so what is your conclusion? He said, Your Honor, if you want to release him on the plea of craziness, you can, because in my opinion, everyone I've examined is more or less crazy. Everyone. It's not just this criminal or that criminal. Everybody in this world is more or less crazy. And it just takes a little something to set them off. And it's there in us also. Actually, You want to know a secret? Every one of us is criminal. Every day we're walking down the street, we're killing so many living entities. We're breathing, we're killing so many living entities. We're cooking, we're killing. It's nothing but a killing field here. Every moment, some living entity is being killed by another living entity. Either for food or for sport or accidentally. But accidental killing is not excused. And that's why we have to surrender to Krishna. And that's why Krishna says, Mahasuchaha, don't worry, you surrender to me and I will remove all those sinful reactions. Otherwise, they're there. It's not that because I'm chanting Hare Krishna, when I step on some ant, they necessarily get liberated. That's in Krishna's hands. It's not in our hands. So we have to be conscious. We have to be careful. Even walking down the street, don't just look ahead, what to speak of looking at your phone, which everybody's doing nowadays. Everybody, you see them, just look outside. Everybody's walking down the street or looking at the phone. It's amazing they don't get run over all the time. Although they do, sometimes people step up in the curb into traffic because they're looking at their phone. Crazy. So we have to be careful. Walking down the street, I've told devotees many times, especially after it rains, the worms tend to come out of the ground and you see them, they're all over the sidewalk. Don't step on them. Try to avoid stepping on them. Devotee means conscious. We try to be conscious, just like that devotee who was made by Narada, Mrigari. Mriga means animal and Ari means enemy or killer. So when you put them together, you get Mrigari. Mrigari, the killer of animals. That was his profession. How low consciousness. And not just killing them, half killing them. Narada was going through the forest and he saw so many animals flopping around. What's going on? So he finally tracked him down. Are you, yes, it's my profession to kill animals. But why are you half killing them? Just kill them. No, my father taught me how to do it this way and I enjoy. That's how low the mentality was. So Narada made him a devotee. And when Narada and Parvat went to visit him after some time, he was coming to pay obeisance to his guru, but he was jumping. So they asked him, what's happening? Oh, there's so many ants. I'm trying not to step on the ants. Just see the change in mentality. So we should have that same mentality. Not that because I'm chanting Hare Krishna, I can walk down the street and step on anything. And no, try and not to step on the insects. Try to keep the ashram and the temple so clean that the roaches won't come. Otherwise, we have this dilemma. Oh, there's so many roaches. Should we kill them? What to do? You know? No, Prabhupada said, try to keep the place so clean and you won't get an infestation. So devotee means conscious. We have to be very conscious. So one of the things we're conscious of today is Krishna's Sharadiya Rasa Leela. This is the first full moon of autumn. Krishna performs his Rasa Leela. And Prabhupada made a very interesting statement that I want to read to you. It's, let's see. Yeah, this is from Krishna Consciousness, the Matchless Gift. Prabhupada says, speaking to all of us, in a spiritual body, one can dance with Krishna in the Rasa dance, like the gopis and the cowherd boys. This is not an ordinary dance, but the dance of eternity. Very, very deep words. The dance of eternity. In the association of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Only those who have become purified in their love for Krishna can participate in it. So this is what we're here for, purification. Become so pure that we can enter into Krishna's Rasa Leela. Who wants to do that? Yeah, everybody should want to do that. We should all want to enter into Krishna's Rasa dance. The dancing spirit is natural. It's innate in us. We all like to dance. It's demonstrated regularly when we go out on Harinam. Prabhupada said the mridanga is meant to make people dance. That's what the mridanga is for. So we need expert mridanga players always. You set that right beat and people naturally, you see them. They're going, last time we were on the promenade, they're going along and as soon as they hear that beat and the cartels, they can't help themselves. So that dancing, desire to dance is natural. It's in all of us. But we imitate Krishna's dance here. We want to have so many girlfriends and boyfriends to dance with, as long as I'm in the center. So this is imitating Krishna. Krishna's natural position as the Supreme Personality of God is to be in the center of everything. So he displays that particularly in his Rasa dance. He's dancing with Radharani in the middle, but he's also next to each and every gopi. So each and every gopi thinks she's dancing with Krishna by herself. Krishna can do that. We can't do that. If I invite 10 people to come and dance with me, I can't dance with each one of them individually. It's not possible. And what to speak of the ecstasy that the devotees feel in Krishna's association. Nobody feels ecstasy in my association. We kid ourselves that I'm so beautiful, or I'm so intelligent, or I'm so strong, or I'm so rich that people are so happy to be with me. No, they just want to use you. Just like the demons want to use Lord Shiva. In this material world, it's a conglomeration of users and the used, cheaters and the cheated. There's no love here. We just kid ourselves that, oh, this person loves me. No, they don't. They just want to use you. Even mother's love, which is supposed to be the purest form of love in the material world, there is motivation there. I broke my back for you to go to college, and now you better take care of me. And in Kali Yuga, they have to be forced. I read an article once that in China, traditionally, of course, the children take care of the parents, but they instituted this one child per family policy. You've heard of that in China. It was the government rule. You can't have more than one child. And generally, the child goes off to big city to go to school or get a job, and they forget about the parents back in the village. So the government had to make a law that you must take care of your parents. Because people weren't doing it naturally anymore. They would just forget the parents, go get a job somewhere, go to the United States or get out of China, and completely forget about their parents. So the government had to make a law. You must take care of your parents. Otherwise, you can be criminally culpable. So this is Kali Yuga. Everybody's self-centered, selfish. Don't let anybody fool you that they're into you and they like you, even what to speak of love you. It's not possible. It's not possible. In the material world, everybody's getting kicked at every moment, and they're simply looking for some relief. So if I can get a little bit of relief by hanging out with you because you cook nicely or you look good or whatever, then I take advantage of that. But there's no real feeling there. Real feelings can only develop when we become purified. Because if you can't love God, then you can't love dog. You can't love anybody else. God is the most lovable person. Yes, he's a person. Most lovable person. So if you can't love Krishna, then your professed love for anybody else is suspect at best. So this is what we're here for, to become so pure that we revive our love for Krishna. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabunai Shravanade Shuddhachita Korya Udai. That love is actually there. It just has to be uncovered by hearing and chanting. So this chanting especially is so important. When we go out on the street, chant. It's the best way to build community. I've experienced that in so many temples. Like in the early 90s, I used to be in the San Diego temple. Bhajanaraya Maharaj at the time was not a sannyasi. He was the temple president, householder. And he was very much into, Satyasanoy was there, remembers. He was very much into Harinam. He would personally go, he would induce all the devotees to go, even the householders who lived outside. I don't care if you have a baby, put them in a pram, bring the pram. Come out and chant. And again, we see just a small party like we had last night. It's so attractive. People will stop and chant. And I remember one family was going by, husband, wife, it looked like two teenage kids. And the wife was the one who came. She jumped in and she was dancing with the ladies, and the husband was taking video. It's so attractive. It's so attractive. It's not that we're attractive, it's the holy name that's attractive. It's the holy name that Krishna's appeared in the form of this holy name. We should remember that. Krishna's appeared as his holy name to purify us and the whole world. And Lord Brahma states, Itti Shodashaka Namnam Kali Kalmashanashanam. That these 16 names, we know there are 8 Hares, 4 Krishnas, 4 Ramas, so that adds up to 16. Those 16 names have the power to break the grip of Kali Yuga. Kali has gripped all of us to make us think, again, that we're the center and whatever I want should be done. And if you don't do what I want, you're a demon. And the 4 pillars of sinful life, Kali is always promoting those. Eat meat, get intoxicated, engage in illicit sex, gamble. But we should know, we have vowed, most of us, not to do these things. It's not that if the Powerball becomes $1.5 billion, Krishna, please just tell me the numbers so I can. Some devotees think like that. I'm not going to name any names, but one devotee who lives here, his brother comes regularly, and whenever the lottery or the Powerball gets big, he says, Arcita Prabhu, I'm going to buy just a couple of tickets. And if I win, of course, I'll take care of the community. I'll, do so many things for you. No, don't gamble. It's part of our tradition. It's part of our Vaishnava culture. We don't gamble. We don't care how big the lottery is. We don't gamble. What to speak of intoxication, illicit sex, meat eating. We don't do any of those things. So this is what the holy names can do. Iti shodashaka namnam, kali kalmasha nashanam. It will break our attraction for those four sinful activities. And only those who are free. Prabhupada said once on a morning walk, devotees were saying to Prabhupada that, Srila Prabhupada, when we mentioned the four regulative principles, people are not interested or not attracted. Prabhupada stopped. He actually was right here in LA. He slammed his cane into the ground and said, why are you surprised? You're preaching to cats and dogs. He said, make them fortunate. Give them this chanting, give them prasadam, and then they can start to. He said on another occasion, anybody who can't follow these four regulative principles is not even human. Not even human. So our task is to stay above Kali's grasp by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Because if you're under the influence of Kali, then you can't help anybody to get out of that influence. Just like if you're a drug addict, you can't help anybody to get off drugs. It just doesn't work. So we have to stay above the influence of Kali by strictly following the principles, by chanting minimum 16 rounds. And that's minimum. One time Prabhupada, it was actually making fun. Some devotees cited, they don't understand. Prabhupada is saying, now I finished my 16 rounds, now I can do anything I damn well please. Prabhupada is making fun of us, because it's not that I chant 16 and then I don't chant anymore for the rest of the day. No, because he said on another occasion, if you have time, chant. Pick up your beads and chant. In other words, if you don't have any practical service to do right now, you've already done your 2 hours of reading, or you don't have access to a book, stick your hand back in the bead bag and chant more rounds. Where's the harm? It's not that 16 bus and that's it. No, keep chanting. Keep chanting. Chant, chant, chant. So all of us have a smartphone, and by government regulation, all providers of cellular service, they have to, when the government tells them, they have to make a broadcast nationwide. It's a nationwide alert, and they test the system periodically. They tell you, today at such and such time, there's going to be a test of the nationwide alert system. You've seen that? Yeah? So I was thinking that there should be a nationwide chanting alert. Not just once in a while. Every day, everybody's phone should go up. Chant Hare Krishna. Wouldn't that be nice? And then you hear Prabhupada, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Rantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.